Game of Thrones just came out, and I'm gonna ruin it with politics. Come on. Politics is one of the things that makes Game of Thrones so great. So hold on to your swords, because I'm gonna add some IRL politics. Let's interweb speak for in real life. We're gonna take a look at some of the power dynamics used by some of the characters or houses to survive or claim the throne.
If they breach the wall, the first two castles in their path are Last Hearth and Carhold.
The Ambers and the Karstarks betrayed the North. Their castles should be torn down with not a stone left standing.
Jon Snow is personally one of my favorite leaders because he's a brave and pragmatic leader with great morals. The trait which he depends on the most for his rise to power is his intelligence. He removes himself emotionally from the situation and makes intelligent, knowledge-based decisions, which fit with his moral values.
The Umbers and the Karstarks have fought beside the Starks for centuries. They've kept faith for generation after generation.
And then they broke faith.
I'm not going to strip these families of their ancestral homes because of the crimes of a few reckless sons.
When given an opportunity for revenge, he simply ignores it and instead forms an alliance with his past traitors. We can easily make the connection with the social justice warriors of today, who seek revenge for the past wrongdoings of their oppressors. They are getting this revenge by stripping away history, for example, by removing the statues of the white professors who founded the universities. Instead, they want to give that space in history to a wall of diversity. It's gonna be a great wall. It's gonna be the best wall. The diversities are gonna pay for that wall.
But I will not punish a son for his father's sins.
I will not punish a son for his father's sins. This resonates strongly with the current climate. We are punishing men with quotas, excluding them for the sexism of the past. We punish white professors by taking away the heritage of what they built because they share the same skin color as the colonizers who lived over 300 years ago. The crimes for which we're prosecuting white men were all crimes of their father or grandfather, great-grandfathers. They're great. We have legislation which makes it illegal to discriminate by gender or race. A lot of these measures that we're seeing at this point just seem like vengeance, and it's leading nowhere. Jon Snow might know nothing, that ignorant bastard, but he knows that they're better off with allies than with enemies. An intelligent answer to an issue where emotions are very high.
If you're her enemy, she'll never stop until she's destroyed you. Everyone who's ever crossed her, she's found a way to murder.
It's important to understand that Sansa's been victimized in her journey. And I'm talking like some legit ass victim shit. Top of the scale. She had to marry Joffrey. And then, turns out that guy wasn't so bad. Fucking Ramsay Bolton shows up, rapes the shit out of her. She's gotta fight off the fucking dogs. Things get stabby. Legit victim shit. Well, in her time with the Lannisters, she learned some tactics. The Lannisters operate with vengeance.
You almost sound as if you admire her.
And like the little social justice warrior that she is,
I learned a great deal from her.
she's starting to shake the King of the North's stable rule of law with feelings of resentment and vengeance. Which brings us to the next family, the Clintons. I mean, kidding. He meant the Lannisters. Guy.
Enemies everywhere. We're surrounded by traitors. You're in command of the Lannister army now. How do we proceed?
The Lannisters are ruthless leaders. They maintain power with an iron fist. And use tactics of fear and humiliation to get others to obey them. Kinda sounds familiar.
Daenerys Targaryen has chosen Tyrion to be her hand. Right now they're sailing across the narrow sea, hoping to take back her father's throne.
They hated their little in more ways than one brother Tyrion since the day he was born, killing their mother in the process. He was always cast aside by the rest of the family despite being the most qualified to contribute because of factors out of his control. His past history, and his physical attributes. Always the scapegoat for their anger, Cersei assumed that he was responsible for killing their son, blaming the white man. Barely having escaped, Tyrion joined the other side and is now actively trying to bring down the family.
He stands beside our enemies and gives them counsel.
Tyrion is a great example of how allies can be lost and join the other side if a group lashes out emotionally and won't listen to reason. People like myself, who once identified as hard left-leaning, are now leaving by the thousands to form opposition to this tyrannical house which refuses to listen to reason.
No one wants to fight on the losing side. Right now, we look like the losing side.
The far left of today rules like the Lannisters. They silence opposition with public shaming. Racist, sexist, homophobe, Islamophobe, bigot, Nazi. They rule with a vengeance, closing down speeches, getting people fired. This amazing scene brings us to our next story of power and survival. Sam has fled his family and his home to work for the Archmeister.
I've seen them. The army of the dead. The White Walkers. I was sent here to learn how to defeat them, but everyone in the Citadel, those who'll even talk to me, they all doubt the Walkers ever existed in the first place.
Sam's story at this point is much like a realist trying to raise concerns of the real threats from the Middle East. Just like today, no one wants to hear any of it and the information is withheld. He's dismissed and rejected by everyone, and so he obsesses over this issue. Much like the people we're calling racists, if nobody is listening and this issue seems dangerous, they're going to isolate themselves with the internet and research more and more information. And since no one wants to listen, they're going to go further and further into the rabbit hole with no one to correct them on their views. We dismiss the risks with mass immigration because we're shown carefully selected footage of harmless women and children suffering. And these people do exist and we need to find a way to help them. But many of us know that we're not being given the full picture here. We're not shown the thousands and thousands of fighting age men from other countries than Syria jumping on the same boats for economic immigration. This is very rarely ever talked about, and when it is, those facts get disregarded and we get called racists. Back to the shitter for you, my friend. Meanwhile, the White Walkers just keep walking in, and we keep pretending that they all just want to play with our dragons. Okay, please chill out, by the way. I'm not equating the Syrian refugees with the White Walkers. These are metaphors. Unlike the White Walkers, most of these are probably okay people. Also, they're brown. But there are real threats we have to look at.
We are this world's memory, Samuel Tarly. Without us, men would be little better than dogs. Don't remember any meal but the last. Can't see forward to any but the next.
Right on, Grandmeister Flex. Right on. Knowledge and information is essential in navigating the world. We need history to remember our past mistakes and our success. And we need information to clearly guide our decisions. So stop trying to remove history or censor information because it hurts your feels. Removing statues, for example. Sure, there's a dark past, and the desire to not give that past any glory is understandable. However, when we see a statue of someone, we're capable of learning lessons from both the positive and the negative history that's in there.
Always cold, but a woman's hands are warm.
Fucking Ed Sheeran! And now, onto every feminist wet dream, Daenerys Targaryen. Alright, before I go on, she looks so goddamn fucking cool in her new castle, all dressed in black. She looks like every boy's weird sex dream come true. A sexy ass Darth Vader. 67,456 steps later. A chair fit for a queen! That looks fucking boss! The following is a little mashup that includes the scene from the last episode.
Are you afraid? Good. You're in the great game now. And the great game is terrifying. The only people who aren't afraid of failure are madmen like your father.
Do you know what frightens me? I said farewell to a man who loves me.
The ruthless Lannisters have nothing left to lose. They fear nothing. Daenerys fears losing her humanity. It will end up being the ultimate weapon against the Lannisters. Vengeance leads to allies becoming enemies, and Daenerys has managed to keep many allies because of her humanity, so she will have the upper hand.
Shall we begin?
Allies are needed even in the war of ideas. So can we stop being so vengeful and going after people's jobs? Although it might seem silly to be comparing the real world with a TV show, the stories that we tell each other through art, like television or cinema, have always been a testament to the time, and we can learn lessons from them. Film has an amazing capacity to create empathy with characters and develop themes and morals. It's a powerful tool which has real influence on how people see the world. This is why I'm doing everything I can to become a director, and it's also why I thought this episode might be useful. So tell me what you guys thought about the episode, both Game of Thrones and this one. Hit up the comments, let's make this more of a conversation, and also attack the like and subscribe buttons with the might of your great army. Cheesy.